Yo, 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 yo. We are the ill-advised wise guys. It's your boy Uche. I got my boy.
Easy for Sheezy. It's way too easy. Call me Jacuzzi Q. That's the new name.
Bow. Bow. Bow, bow, bow. Hey, we don't promote gun violence, only in, imaginary songs. That's all. Bow. This is episode 85.
85.
No, sorry, 86.
86.
We're having so many episodes. I completely forgot.
Yeah, man. We
and,
officially have more episodes than In the House.
Yo, what kind of show do we want to be? Do we want to be a show like Futurama, or do we want to be a show like The Simpsons that's still coming on? Like, how many episodes are we striving to get to, man? How many?
Definitely not The Simpsons.
I don't understand how The Simpsons is still on. They're airing new episodes in 2020. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. That's
the show should have been long canceled.
I'll say right now, if we end up going that long, trust me, we would have made this show a day job at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, we would be properly compensated by the people and the powers that be.
We would be very old talking about mainstream music. You're talking about Lil Uzi Vert. Actually, Lil Uzi Vert probably wouldn't even be popular. It would be Stormy or something like that we'll be talking about. I'm going to retire when we have to start talking about these people's young toddlers. Imagine our topics with freaking Blue Ivy. I'm like, okay,
bro. Yeah. Imagine us having a segment where we're discussing a new album from Uzi's son.
Like his father was a very revolutionary.
His father was an exceptional young rapper, and he went by the name Lil Uzi Ooh, and his son's name, he might have, instead of Lil, you know how they took Lil Wayne and the Lil for every name. Who is going to be the next person to establish the next wave of, you know what I'm saying? The next wave. Is it the Baby? Like, is it Lil Baby? I mean, Lil Baby took Lil. So is it the Baby part, like Baby Keem? There's some people that started that wave, you know what I'm saying? Is that the next one?
Yeah, could be. Or, it could be something like Junior. Nobody's using Junior.
You mean like the letters JR, right?
Yeah, JR. Yeah, Junior Shatta.
Nah, that's trash. Let's start the damn show. But before we do we have any announcements? I want to turn this into like a church section. You know how they make the announcements at church before they get into the sermon. You know what I mean?
The only reason I like those announcements was because I knew church was close to being over.
Oh my God! You too?
On, like, oh, it's done. Yes. You got to sing that last hymn. I be singing that last hymn, happy as hell. Or hymn.
No, that's true. No, that's actually true, man. Yo, anybody that's been
I went to a historically white church.
Oh my God! I'm sure you're proud to admit that.
So song interesting songs. Songs from the 1800s by Socrates. Probably created it.
Yo, you bring up a good topic though, man. That's really off the cuff, man. Because you're right. That, like, when you go through church and there's like little spurts, they sing hymns all throughout. Listen, nobody's singing all of the hymns with all of their might. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some you take a little time out, you take time off. You open in the book, but you're not really singing.
Some exactly.
Some you take a little day off. It's like a little day off, like a little breather. Exactly. Like, yeah, man.
How tight, yo. I know you felt like you was the man when you were the one that was leading the book.
Oh
You were the
man.
one that was like, all right, I got the book, I got the lead. All right, I'm gonna change it at the right time. All right, y'all done? Yeah, y'all done? All right, yeah. Boom. I changed it right when the melody changed.
Yeah. No, but you got to be an expert. You can't be an amateur and be doing that. That takes time and skill to be able to flip that page like that.
That page.
So gracefully.
Oh, that felt so damn good when you got it right. Ooh.
Hell yeah, man. I don't know how this turned into a reminiscing of church, but hey, man.
You can always
I'm sure a lot of people can relate, man. I'm sure a lot of people can relate.
Always talk.
I say we start the show, man. Shall we?
Well, probably.
Let's get into that, man. How about we start the show and we get into the unfortunate situation that unfolded in Atlanta between, you know, young rappers by the name of King Von and I'm trying not to throw this other name in here because I don't know. I don't even know if it's confirmed or not, but they say Quando Rondo's crew is the people that were the posers, you know what I'm saying, with that whole tragic situation that ended up in King Von and two other guys who were in King Von's crew getting murdered. So, yeah, man, you notice how my tone really changed with this topic because I'm trying to be very delicate and I'm trying to be very respectful because not only is it becoming a trend in hip hop, you know, it's just unfortunate, man. We're losing rappers at a pace in which should be uncomfortable for people. It should, and to me, I'll be honest, like it's becoming too normal. It's like I'm starting to just get numb to it, and I think I know I'm not the only person who feels like that, but I can honestly say that like the fact that it's become normal is letting me know that this is happening way too frequently and something needs to be done, man. So rather than talk about the obvious murder and the senseless violence, senseless conflicts that these black men are having, man, what can we do to solve this? Like, what can we do as a community to actually bring proper change, right? To change this. Is this something that we can do, or is this something that they, the artists, the rappers, the people that's living that life need to change? I mean, what do you think, man?
Well, you know, the street life, I think, is one that is cruel. You know, when you're in the streets, I used to always talk about it all the time. Like, it's unfortunate. A lot of the rappers that have died in their own hometown, have been gunned down by their own, people. I think about like, like Chinks. That was another tragic death. And a lot of times, Nipsey Hussle too, obviously. It's like you give back to the streets, you come back to the streets, and a lot of times the streets don't, treat you the way that they should be treating you, like giving thanks to what you've done. And I think the more and more rappers are living by these street rules, living in the streets that they probably no longer believe they no longer should be following, like those rules. I mean, I get it. It's ingrained in you, but if you could just find a way to just get out of that life, like get out of it, then I think that can solve a lot of stuff. Because, for me, what ensued in that situation, from what I know, what allegedly happened, it looked like it was a fight that unfortunately just turned deadly. Fights happen, differences happen, but when it gets to that gunfire, to me it's just like, man, it just did not have to happen. And that to me is what I always go back to. This did not have to happen. It did not have to go down like that, but unfortunately it did. As you can tell, I'm trying to, toe that line just like you did, just because I think it's such a delicate situation. And to be honest with you, it's a situation that, I can't really speak much on, because at the end of the day, it's between the two parties. or all the parties involved. And, you know, whatever their beef was, I have no clue. But all I know is, you know, it was just a situation that's unfortunate and just did not have to happen.
Man, that's to me, I would say first off, well stated, well said. You know, I'm I'm tired of this, man. I'll be honest. As a consumer, as a now commentator on the culture, as somebody who, you know, we both, you and I, we cover the art side of what essentially is the street life that these guys come up, you know, under, and they live out in their raps. And while, you know, we don't do enough, I think, paying attention to how much these guys are glorifying it sometimes. And a lot of them are not glorifying it. They're just kind of just telling they're living their truth, talking about the experiences. So I don't want to make it seem like all of them are glorifying that life. But I will say, I feel like we as a consumer base, we as the listeners, we have a responsibility to change the narrative on how the music itself is becoming a reality for a lot of these dudes. You know, I mean, they say it all the time. Art imitates life, and sometimes they say life imitates art. It kind of just depends on how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? So, without getting too cheesy on that side, like I just want to say, man, rest in peace to King Von, man. I know King Von was about to blow. Like I could just feel it. He had a couple songs that was starting to really hit, and this debut album of his, Welcome to O Block, was you know, even before he passed, was doing pretty well. Like, you know, a matter of fact, he passed the week the album came out. 2 days after, was it not?
He passed.
It might have been the day after.
A week after it came out.
Was it a week after? Okay, I don't know.
A week after it came out.
Yeah, Welcome to O Block. It was, I think it did like 25K in the first week, you know? And unfortunately, and we got to stop this shit too. The albums do even more numbers when the people died. Like, I understand people flock to the name, and they just, maybe a lot of people just found out who he is, but like, yo, we got to stop. We got to stop. We got to stop showing love after people die. Like, I understand it. People, you know, stream the guy's music, you know, buy his merch, show love and support. But a lot of these dudes, like, for example, Pop Smoke is another guy who senselessly got murdered. And his album is still streaming heavily. I personally don't know whether or not his album would have been received at the same level that it is now if he was not murdered and he was still here. I do believe the music was really good, but it's hard for me to tell. Some of these dudes have yet to reach their potential. Pop Smoke never reached his potential. King Von never even really got a national mainstream look. Juice WRLD was the only guy to me who died, and maybe XXXTentacion as well, who kind of saw the love before they actually you know, reached their untimely death. But it leaves a sour taste in my mouth, man, when the numbers are doing better after they pass. I be feeling some type of way about that. You know,
the thing that's interesting is, you know, I'm not used to seeing the person just so close to right before they die, right? Like back in the day, we didn't have the internet, or the internet wasn't utilized as much. Like Twitter, Instagram, and stuff was not around. Academics was not around. YouTube videos were not around. So you a lot of times can go a couple weeks, couple days without seeing this person. We saw King Von 2 days before, like on Academics. Did a video. We saw him 2 days before. We listened to an album by him just a week ago. Pop Smoke, same thing. Pop Smoke's album just released like the week before he got shot.
Yeah, man.
You know, so because we're so up close and personal with the people, it makes it even more difficult to process, because you're like, I just saw this person. Same thing with Nipsey Hussle. Like, I remember seeing Nipsey Hussle at a NCAA tournament game just like the day before. You know, it's just this, to me, it's hard to deal with. I mean, even on outside of music, Kobe Bryant. Like literally before Kobe Bryant died, LeBron James just passed him on the all-time scoring list. He tweeted out the last tweet Kobe Bryant ever had was congratulating LeBron James. Like, and the next morning he was gone. Like, to me, that up close and personal, we all love it. We all love it because we get to really know who our favorite artists are, our favorite sports folks are. But at the same time, it comes with this grain of salt where a lot of times them passing away just comes out of left field for you.
Yeah. And I know what some people are going to say, well, King Von lived that life, so you shouldn't be surprised. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, and I understand that notion. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I think anytime somebody dies, especially somebody who's who has a promising career, it should be noted. And again, we cannot act like this is normal. Like I gotta keep stressing that, man. Like we have to do better as a community. I ain't gonna lie.
I agree.
I did like it. What happened that night should not have happened. Mm-hmm. Period. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. Maybe that's enough. Shit. I don't even know if we should keep speaking on this because I'm starting to get sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we move on, man?
I believe so.
Man, let's lighten it up a bit.
Next topic that we're gonna talk about is Pluto times Baby Pluto. As you guys may know, Lil Uzi Vert and Future just dropped a new album. What do you think about this joint? From my reliable sources tell me we differ in opinions on this one. I've heard that from a very reliable source.
Sorry, my bad. I just got a call. What'd you say? I didn't even hear you. What was the last thing you said, bro?
I said reliable sources tell me that we differ on how we feel about this.
Your sources
texting and tweeting and people while a damn show is going on. Are you crazy?
Nah, I got a phone call, man. Listen, shout out to my now fiance who got me these headphones that are able to connect to multiple devices at a time. So like what happened was I got a phone call, and anyway, you guys catch my drift.
He's engaged. See how he just kind of like
I smoothed that one in there. You saw that?
Beyonce, yeah. That's a big deal. Cause look, congratulations to this guy. This guy's engaged out the game. I saw your tweet. You said you're in the rafters now, like with
dog. My jersey resides in the rafters, bro. Like it's there. I hung it up. I'm retired.
Hey, that means you can't talk about Summer Walker no more. Leave Summer Walker alone.
That is not true. I can talk about whoever I would like to. I just have to do it respectfully. And when she's not in the room. When she's in the room, I gotta act like she's not there. And act like Summer Walker doesn't exist. And Melly, throw Melly in there too.
Oh yeah, Melly, that's true. Melly, Danny Lee, the whole gang.
Hey, I'm digressing. I will cue the congratulatory noise for my engagement and whatnot. But shout out to everybody that showed love and support, man. What's all the cheesy stuff that people say? I couldn't be here without y'all.
Oh, gee.
You know how people do.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Let's so where were we? Future and Uzi dropped the project. So here we go. So I believe that number one, this was a huge release, right? Like these two dudes, I like before I even get into the actual music and how it sounded, I do want to acknowledge that this type of release is massive. Like I can't even understate that. These are two giants in hip hop. Future being one that's been here for however 10 years, damn near. Uzi is like the king of the new school. And so these dudes coming together is a moment for hip hop, for real. So let me put that aside. The music itself, I thought was pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't want to act. I don't want to sit here and act like I was impressed, like I was just jumping for joy for the music that was on this project, because I wasn't. And I'm sure you're going to elaborate on why you felt that way. But it had a couple joints that I really, really liked. And by the way, this is a long ass album, which, you know, we get into that a lot. And 16 songs should not be a lot, but I don't know. It felt like it was about 25 songs. Like, I had a hard time going through this whole album and not pausing and being like, wait, where am I in this album? Am I even halfway yet? It was hard. But anyway, $1 Million Play, it's up there. It's one of my favorite songs on the project, because I think what these two dudes do well is they bring the energy. They talk that fly, trendy shit that everybody loves to hear. Uzi is Uzi. He's a star, superstar. I love the energy and the synergy that these two dudes had on some of these songs. Some of them. $1 Million Play is one. That's It was really, really good. I even like the song that, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Rockstar Chains. Dope ass song by Future. Like, I really enjoyed that song a lot. And Future, yo, have you noticed that anytime Future does a collab tape with someone, right? He's done one with Drake. He's done one with Juice WRLD. Now he's done one with Uzi. He may have another that I'm mistaking off the or forgetting off the top, but he usually just comes through with like a solo joint on that album that's like really, really damn good. On the What a Time to Be Alive, that song Jersey, I really like that song. That's one of them joints that always stuck with me. And I can't remember the one with Juice WRLD, but anyway, Future usually delivers on his solo efforts when he's making collab tapes. But going back to the album, I like what Uzi did on Lullaby, rapping wise. The song overall wasn't even really that good. And then Moment of Clarity to end the album off is another joint that I really like. To me, man, overall, you kind of talked me off of a ledge yesterday, because you brought up a good point, which I think you're going to touch on, which is, you know, we're not really hearing this music while we're outside. So it changes the feeling of the music. So without making your point, I'm going to stop talking, because overall, I think the album is decent. Like, I'm not about to sit here and crown it. I'm not about to sit here and act like because the two names are this massive, I'm just supposed to automatically think it's amazing. I don't feel that way about this project. I think it was all right. It was all right. Definitely not bad. So if anybody tells you I think it's bad, they're a liar. I think it's an average project to good, maybe. And, you know, it may grow on me. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. What are your thoughts, sir?
You are a foolish fool. Respectfully, your favorite word. Respectfully, you are a foolish fool. You know.
Hey, you lucky we're not in the same room. I might have did something to you.
Yeah.
I might have disrespectfully did something to you, but
you ain't about to run the block, or whatever they run the block, run black the block. I don't know what they say.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So leave that to the street people.
I will leave it to the streets.
You're not in the streets, sir.
I'll leave it to the trenches, the traps, the bandos in the streets. But here's the thing. Like, I get where you're coming from, but I don't care. Right now, I think Lil Uzi Vert is arguably the best artist in the game right now. Point blank, period. I don't think people are making that level of quality when it comes to trap music. With that being said, or whatever the hell music you want to call Lil Uzi Vert's music, he is on another level. And to me, Future is a very high quality trap artist too. These two are the two like highest quality trap artists in the game right now. If you want to call Lil Uzi Vert's music trap music, like I said, them coming together for this Pluto times Baby Pluto album was legendary. And the music that they were able to come up with was damn dare legendary to me. Like, it is so high quality. It is so next level. And if you really want to break it down music-wise, production was next level. Melodies were next level. The topics that they talked about and how they talked about those topics on the album, next level. You know, there's something called a fearless artist, right? Lil Uzi Vert is fearless and then some. Future is fearless and then some. Future is down to talk about whatever. Future is down to talk about drugs, women that have drugs in their blood. Like, it doesn't matter. He's down to talk about it, and them two together, two fearless artists coming together, delivered on this project. Now, in my opinion, what makes this project such a good project is Lil Uzi Vert. I will say something that you mentioned earlier. It was shocking that the two solo songs, one that Future had, one Lil Uzi Vert had, Future actually beat Lil Uzi Vert's solo effort. I did not see that coming. And, you know, the chemistry on the album is so good. They do a good job of not stepping on each other's toes, but then at the same time, they do a good job of like just hyping each other up and just like picking up on topics. Like, to me, if you forget, like, you know, how enjoyable the music is, forget that. Pay attention to how everything they did on the album was put together and the completeness of the body of work that album is. It is high quality music. It really is. It's high quality music. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Look, man, you know, we said this earlier. Let's not make the show a 3-hour show. So I'm not gonna give you my full thoughts. We'll handle that off camera and maybe on social media. We'll see.
Full thoughts or thoughts? You keep
the
thoughts,
man.
Thoughts got to do with Pluto.
We'll handle the thoughts later, okay? Thoughts. Let's handle them later, you know.
Okay.
But no, seriously, yo, man, I'm saying this respectfully. Don't be like these people out here that just like being a hype beast. This moment between these two dudes is perfect hype beast material. This is what people live for. Oh my God. Like, you know what? I saw Double XL, right? You know, because I was listening to the album when it dropped. I was on Twitter, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing what people were saying. And just Double XL was just tweeting all throughout the album. You know, they were giving their thoughts. I don't know who was behind the actual account, but they were like, oh, this song is fire. Such and such was sliding on this song. I'm like, okay, that's tight. I like what they're doing, you know. And by the way, Ratings Game should do that too. That was a dope idea. But all I'm saying is, I'm knocking not necessarily what they were, the spirit behind it, but more so what they were saying about the album. You use the word legendary. I would not use the word legendary to describe the music on this project. I would use the word legendary to describe the moment. Like, the moment is legendary. The music itself is not legendary. And I'm not throwing that word around for the music that was on this album. Don't be a hype beast like these people out here. I'm telling you. We're not going to remember this project, bruh. I'm telling you. We're not going to remember it in a week or two. And that doesn't mean the music is bad. I'm just saying it's not as great as people are making it seem. That's all I got to say.
I vehemently disagree with you.
And that's cool.
And it's okay.
And that's the beauty of this show. And life, too.
That is true.
Let's move on. Because I think we got somebody else who you're probably going to trash. And I might be right in line with you, but we'll see. Let's see what the sources say. Nav, Mr. Nav Brown Boy himself dropped a new project called Emergency Tsunami. Whew. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know why he called it Emergency Tsunami. Cool album cover, though. I'll give him that. What do you think about this album, man?
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
because I'm looking. No, I'm looking at I'm actually, you can't see what I'm looking at. I was looking at the title, the songs on the album, and thinking to myself, why did this album come out? Like, what was the point of this album? But I want to know what you think.
Well, there was two
I
things.
Give my thoughts.
There's two things that you didn't mention, which is okay.
Okay.
It's actually Nav and Wheezy's album, Emergency
Okay.
Tsunami. Nav and Wheezy, number one. Number two,
Fair enough.
it is a surprise album. So like it just kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't something that was on anybody's like upcoming album releases list.
Yep.
And the reason I brought those two things up is because as solid of a performance that Nav puts up on the album, I think Weezy is the star of the show. There's not many people that are as good as Metro Boomin or have put up performances as good as Metro Boomin has been putting up these last couple of years. I'm here to tell you the performance that Weezy puts up on Emergency Tsunami is Metro Boomin-like. He takes trap beats and just makes them more cinematic sounding. He makes them more explosive, more action-packed. Like, he really showed his ass out. Like, I give him an A for the beats on that album. And I didn't know. I never knew Weezy was this good. I like his beats, but a lot of his beats I thought sounded the same because I'm like, you know, every time Nav or Young Thug or Gunna call on Weezy, doesn't it always sound like hot? Once you hear like Weezy did the beat, it's like, this sounds like hot. But I thought he really showed his versatility on Emergency Tsunami. Now, what I'm hearing, what the streets are saying is that Nav put up a really good performance on this album. So I think Nav did solid. I mean, he's talking about the same stuff he always talks about, right? Like shooting people and I got money and I treat women like they don't deserve anything nice in the world. Like he does what he usually does lyrically. But
Like
then
it doesn't deserve anything nice in the world.
But
okay.
what the streets are really saying is that Nav's flows on the album were amazing. I don't see that. I mean, I get that he had solid flows, but there was nothing different than what I've seen him do on his other albums. But here's the thing. Here's the last thing I'm going to say before I pass it to you. Can we please, I like Nav. I think Nav is a very talented musician, but I think we're starting to grade Nav based off of the improvements he has made as an artist from these last couple of albums. I think people are giving him credit because he has improved. And I've always said that. I said he's improved as an artist each album. He's getting better. But he's nowhere near, to me, a good rapper. Can we stop giving him praise he doesn't deserve? I like what he did on Emergency Tsunami, but he has a way to go as an artist before you can start saying, like, he's good. Stop. He did solid on it. He did. I can even argue with you that he did slightly above average on the album. Weezy was the star of the show. I give Nav his props for, you know, doing what he usually does on stuff. Carry on.
Well, you know, you said something, and I'll pick it up from here, where you said something kind of interesting to me. You said you were talking about how his flow, people were congratulating him for his flows and whatnot. I'm here to tell you, I don't agree with you, man, I don't agree with you that Nav is not a good rapper. Nav is pretty good. Like, I would actually call Nav a good rapper. I think the problem with Nav is not his rapping itself, not the words he's putting together, not the flows. It's his voice, bruh. It's his voice. It's the same thing people knock Big Sean for. By the way, I'm not comparing them in terms of ability. I'm talking about the annoyingness of voices and how it can actually impact.
Jesus Christ, of Nazi, you almost did. And I almost.
Come on, relax.
Your show.
Relax. What? How dare you interrupt me after I was very clear? I was extremely clear on on the point I made, because I know it's a slippery slope, but I danced, I think, properly. But anyway, yeah, man, voice it means a lot. You know, delivery means a lot. You know, I think delivery separates somebody like a St. John, right? St. John is the king of delivery, right? In 2020, like, he has the tone. He has the tone where he could say anything, and that shit will sound amazing because his tone sounds appealing. You know what I'm saying? So,
but
with that,
let me say something.
Go ahead, man.
Let me say something. Sorry,
make this good, man. Make this good. You interrupted me twice. Okay.
Sorry, but Nav. So you don't think his lyrics are basic? His lyrics are beyond basic.
Look, man.
You don't think that?
I think that Nav is a very. I think the stuff he talks about is extremely like I don't care about the shit he talks about. That's not shit that like I care about ever. I get nothing out of listening to Nav personally. But if we're talking about content, I get nothing out of listening to Gunna, like in terms of the content itself. But I like Gunna's music because of his tone. Like for example, on the song with Gunna, shit. Which, by the way, that's one of the best songs on the album. The joint called Young Weezy. Gunna destroyed in a great way that song. He fucked that song up, and again, in a good way. It's kind of like when people say, "Oh, that girl's bad," but it really means good. Anyway, you guys catch my drift. The point is, Gunna is the epitome of somebody who has style and delivery. He can deliver the actual line. I don't care about what he's talking about. It sounds good. Nav doesn't sound good, tone-wise. And I think that's where people like you have a problem with him. But in terms of his rapping, I don't think it's that bad.
But that's a part of the package. I don't think the rapper, that's a part of the how you sound. You can't sound like a robot that talks about the same thing and say he's a good rapper. That doesn't make sense. He sounds like a robot. I
didn't say Nav is good. Let me be very clear. I think Nav is a decent rapper. He's not bad. He's definitely not bad. He's not bad. But I understand why you would say he's bad. I get it. But going back to what I was saying about the album, you're right, man. The star of the show is Weezy, you know. And what's funny to me is, I thought Weezy was getting it. He was moving into a lane where he was trying to become like and I still think this, trying to become like a Metro Boomin, you know, and kind of be at the forefront of the music videos and really be marketed properly as a producer. And when you said the whole album was done by Weezy, I think everybody knows that's familiar with Weezy's sound, but I didn't see his name listed as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like his name's not really it's not really propped up on right, you know what I'm saying? Right beside Nas. I don't know. I think everybody knows again that the album was produced by Weezy, but besides that point, the music itself just sounded very Gunna, Young Thuggish. Like I think musically speaking, you know, it was interesting to see Nav jump into Gunna and that whole YSL slimy type music, whatever that means. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It was interesting to see him throughout an entire project go into that lane. I didn't really like it. I'll first listen, to be honest with you, but it's kind of getting better. I heard it again. It got a little bit better. I'm not really a fan of Nav getting into this lane, but overall, to be honest with you, the music is not bad. The album is not bad. It's not. It's not a bad album. Go and knock Nav for his answer machine voice. I get it. I don't think it's that bad though. I don't think it's that bad.
I will never understand the appeal of Nav. I'm just going to be honest, and this is no knock on. Like some people are not going to understand the appeal of us. You know, some people are not.
That's what I'm saying. It's all subjective, bro.
Of whatever,
bro. It's subjective.
I really, as a hip hop person, somebody who's been listening to hip hop music since I was 9, 10. I've seen the Puff Daddies, the Master P's of the world. Everybody. I do not understand the appeal of Nav and why he's such that big of an artist. I don't understand it. I didn't say that he shouldn't be, but like I really do think that he is a very overrated rapper. But that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion, and I don't get it. I'm just being
Well, look. I mean,
his music is beyond basic. It's just I think if he wasn't coming from such a unique standpoint, like a brown boy and self-proclaimed brown boy, which he's an Indian guy, an Indian rapper. I don't think he would be as big as he is. That's just my personal opinion. Because music is beyond basic.
The thing is, we will never know. So that's hypothetical. But I mean, I understand your point. And
like I said,
I get it.
It's no knock on Nav. He's doing his thing. I like what he's doing. But that's what I hear. I just tell you what I hear is just really basic trap music.
Bro, you just don't like his voice, man. Just stick at that. It's cool. You don't have to like everybody's sound. But I'm telling you right now, content-wise, flow-wise, the shit, like how he delivers the bars, it's no different from what these other niggas
I know
are
that.
doing.
I know.
It's no different.
I know.
So when I'm saying, so when you attack Nav, make sure you bring that point up when you start talking about all these other people that you may like. I'm just saying.
Content.
Not Gunna. I'm not talking about Gunna. I ain't talking about Gunna.
I don't know.
Because I think Gunna's style is what is his superpower. Like his style, his delivery is just infectious.
Okay. But let me ask you something. So, okay,
Yeah.
see what you're saying. But he's Nav. A lot of people do what Nav does, but Nav is at the bottom of the barrel of what like Young Thug does Nav, whatever Nav is doing better than him. Gunna does it better than him. Travis Scott.
Who would you?
Nav's lane,
I was about to say. So who would you say is in? So who would you say is in Nav's? Not his. Who would you say is actually on Nav's level? And I'm not putting Young Thug on that. Young Thug is not on.
If you're talking popularity or you're talking about like style?
I'm talking about both style and popularity.
If you talking, Gunna maybe like Gunna, but the thing is, to me, Gunna is way better, a way better rapper. Not in terms of like just the whole package than that. Like the package of Gunna, like Gunna actually he's dope. Like he's unique. Like the thing is, Nav has the talent to be somebody that is unique, but he chooses to dumb down his sound so much. Like I'm somebody that loved his first album. I was like, this is unique. I've never heard music like this.
First album was great.
He's literally dumbing down his sound and getting more popular.
So how about this? How about this? I'm in Spotify, and I'll move on right after this. I'm in Spotify's. You know how they have like the fans also like section. And they compare the artist to whoever's on their level or whatever. So in fans also like, we got Don Toliver, we got Gunna, Lil Yachty, Kodak Black, Flip De Niro, YB in the Mirror, Rich the Kid, Famous Dex, Playboy Cardi, 21 Savage, Lil Tecca. I mean, the list goes on. Those are just some of the ideas of people who, right, may be on his level, or people are also listening to. He's at the back of the class. He's at the back of the class in that I will say, in my opinion, he's better than some of the dudes on this list. To me, he's better than Flip De Niro. To me, he's better than
arguable.
Better than Famous. It's not arguable. Not to me.
Arguable. It's arguable.
Not to me.
He's more popular than Flip De Niro.
No, I'm talking about better.
But better, arguable.
Bro, you've heard a whole project from Nav that you said you really thought was great. When have you heard a whole project from Flip De Niro that you even cared about?
As a rapper.
Like, I know exactly. That's what we're talking
about. As the rapper, I did Nav's projects. Like I never considered Nav a good rapper. But the thing is, when he dropped his first album, he was at least unique. If you're not going to be good, at least be unique in some type of way, right? Like Rich the Kid, right? Rich the Kid is, to me, not necessarily a good rapper. Rich the Kid's a bad rapper, in my humbling opinion.
He's awful.
But he's unique. So that's what at least makes me want to listen to Rich the Kid, because he's actually unique. I've not heard a rapper like him. Nav is no longer unique to me.
Look. I'm gonna end it off like this. How is sounding like an answer machine not unique? Nobody's doing that. Huh?
Answer machines are doing it. So you say, who do you want to compare him to? Panasonic. You compare him to Panasonic. Similar artists. Panasonic, Sony answer machines.
He sounds like Dynex. He sounds like Sony. Yo, they still make answer machines? Come on, in 2020?
That's actually a good question. That's a quite interesting.
All right, man. Let's move on, man. Let's move on.
All right. Next topic. Let's talk about a news story that broke out. Kendrick Lamar's engineer, mixed by Ali, said that he has 6 albums worth of music. He also said that what Kendrick Lamar, his leftover, if you want to call it leftovers or unreleased stuff, is better than a lot of people's regular music. So what does that tell you about Kendrick Lamar and his future?
Yeah, that's an interesting story, man. Uh, what does it tell me about his future? Well, what it tells me is that I feel like Kendrick, number one, is a very meticulous artist who he's probably his biggest critic. You know, I could see Kendrick being his own biggest critic. It's very similar to how I feel about a lot of dudes in TDE. I mean, think about it like this. Think about Ab-Soul, for example, right? And I'll just talk about him and then I'll jump right back to Kendrick. Ab-Soul to me is a incredible rapper to me. It's my humbling opinion. He's an incredible rapper. However, you rarely hear new music dropping from Ab-Soul, if ever. And it was reported that he has that exact anxiety that a lot of artists have. Like they get stuck in this demo mode where they just put out they make a whole bunch of music, but they don't really feel like it's good enough to release. They're their own biggest critic, and I feel like Kendrick may be that type of artist. And look, man, shit, if we ever get those 6 albums worth of music, I think everybody will be ecstatic. But I think where Kendrick is ascending to in his legacy, because you know when we start talking about Kendrick, Cole, the dudes who came out about 10 years ago, they are becoming legacy driven artists, right? Like you can't just put out anything, you just can't. And shout out to people like Drake who, you know, it doesn't feel like he's afraid to really get on people's stuff. You know, and I say afraid loosely because, you know, Drake has been featured on how many songs over the last couple of years? I really feel like that's how he's been able to stay afloat. And he's putting out daring album titles like Certified Lover Boy. Like what? Like this is the type of album title to me that some people might be like, oh man, Drake is falling off. Look at Drake. But I think there's a such thing as a legacy play. And I think when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, you know, I wish we would get new music from Kendrick, man. We need to hear from Kendrick at times like this, you know, the pandemic. I feel like Kendrick will be able to craft a masterfully concepted album. You know what I'm saying? Look at what he did on To Pimp a Butterfly, man. Come on. I mean, that album still resonates to today. I mean, it resonates to the Black struggle. It resonates to people who are just impoverished. It resonates for a lot of people. And it resonates for people in 2020 during a pandemic year where people are losing their jobs, people losing their lives. A lot of crazy stuff is happening in the world. So I'll tell you this, I want new music from Kendrick. Like, I'm not dying for new music from Kendrick, but I will be the first person to press play when a Kendrick album is announced and drops. I'm telling you right now. I think he's cooking up something special. I really feel that way. And actually, before you go, it was actually reported that if it wasn't for the pandemic, he was planning to drop an album this year, but the pandemic kind of halted those plans. So yeah, man, we'll see when we actually get new music from him. But shit, if his engineer is telling the truth, which he has no reason to lie, bro, we're in for a for a fucking treat. Let's just put it like that. We're in for a treat when we actually get new music from him. What do you think, man?
You know, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and the opposite, which isn't it funny that I don't think anybody talks about like the opposite advocate. Does anybody say, hey, I'm going to play God's advocate or something?
You mean the angels? The angel, yeah. God's or the angel's advocate?
Angel's advocate. That's tight, right? Ain't that tight?
No, and that's the episode title. I like that.
There you go. Angel's advocate. So here's the thing. Like, there's still beauty in an artist dropping music when they feel like it's the right time to drop music. There's still beauty in that. I think Kendrick Lamar is somebody that does that. Actually, quite frankly, the whole TDE does that, right? SZA doesn't drop until it feels right. Schoolboy Q doesn't drop until it feels right. Like you said, Ab-Soul doesn't drop. Even Reason, even people that a lot of people may not know. He doesn't drop until it feels right. That's what it feels like. But what's interesting is what I would want is in between. Like, I would like to see more Kendrick features. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see more Schoolboy Q features. I would like to see more SZA features, so on and so forth. So that's the weird thing. But, you know, to kind of compare this to the NBA, you know, at this point, LeBron James is only chasing Michael Jordan. And so the same thing that the next NBA player can do or be proud of, LeBron James can't be proud of. Like, at this point, LeBron James has to make the finals every single year until he retires, or his season is a failure. It doesn't matter if he averages a triple-double for the year. His season is a failure. So at this point, Kendrick Lamar, he can't just drop an album. I mean, he's put out three classic, undeniable classic albums. Like, tell me Good Kid, Mad City is not a classic album. That's one of the greatest albums of all time.
You will never hear somebody say it's not. And if they do, they're nuts.
Listen to me when I say this. Listen to me.
They are crazy.
I am ratings game music guy. I rate music. I do it all the time. To Pimp a Butterfly is an A. Good Kid, Mad City is an A. And what's the last one that he came out with? Damn. That's an A. They're all A's.
But I want to hold on. This is a great point to interject for a second here. Now I'm playing devil's advocate. You're Angel's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate right now. Right?
Now this is fun. You know what I'm saying?
So just because an album is an A doesn't make it a classic. I would actually argue that To Pimp a Butter, and sorry, I think it's debatable that To Pimp a Butterfly is a classic. I don't think that's undeniable. I don't think so. I mean, I think people really love it, but I don't think it's an undeniable classic.
Smoking on YOLO. Bro, you are smoking on.
It's debatable.
That are out of the greatest drugs we've seen in mankind.
Hey, I don't live in Oregon. I don't live in Oregon, my brother. I don't live in Oregon, my brother.
Is a classic album. What?
Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? I said, listen very closely, because you're having a hard time listening. It's clear to me. I said it is debatable that To Pimp a Butterfly is a classic album, unlike Good Kid, Mad City. Now, I know you're not about to sit here and tell me that on the level of classicness, rating those two albums and putting them up against each other, they're both undeniably on the same level. You would be smoking the highest quality of crack, my guy, if you would say that. You'd be smoking crack.
I can argue with.
I'm playing devil's advocate, by the way.
I can argue with you.
Being an A album does not make it a classic. That's all I'm saying to you.
But to me, listen, I can argue with you that To Pimp a Butterfly is more of a classic album than those other two, because To Pimp a Butterfly was very meaningful, very powerful, very well put together album that kind of felt like almost like a something sacred. It felt like a sacred album. Like, I can argue with you with that's more of a classic. That's probably my least favorite Kendrick Lamar album. It is my least favorite Kendrick Lamar album, but it's the most impressive in my opinion.
The word I would actually use, I feel you, but the word I would actually use to describe To Pimp a Butterfly is, to me, that is Kendrick's most important album. That's his most important album. It does not make it better. It doesn't mean it's more of a classic than Good Kid, but I think it's his most important. That's how I look at To Pimp a Butterfly. Personally.
To me, like I said, Good Kid, Mad City they're all classics. So I don't know. I'm not arguing, but to go back to my point, just real quick to close it out, like, when you are somebody that has put together 3 albums that are all A's, like, you cannot just put out a playlist like Drake did, right? Or you cannot just put out a demo tapes, right? you got to go for an A. Because even if his album is a B, see what we just did to Lil Uzi Vert in Future, right? Because Lil Uzi Vert's album was so good. His album was so good. Remember that dropped this year, Eternal Take.
Mm-hmm.
You start to look at the stuff he does after, and you're like, you know, it's all right. No, the fact of the matter was, it was not better than Eternal Take, but it's still better than a good chunk of the albums that come out this year. Like Future, like to me, you can give that album Future and Lil Uzi Vert nothing less than a B. But people are gonna probably trash it because it wasn't as good as DS2. It wasn't as good as Eternal Take. But that's what Kendrick Lamar is chasing. He is chasing greatness. He is chasing his other A albums. And he got to really come out when it feels right. So I'm with it. So part of me, like I said, part of me wants new Kendrick, but part of me wants him to take his time because anything less than an A would be a disappointment.
Yeah, look, man, you know, two things can be true, man. Like, you can want him to take his time, and I can also want new music from him. But I think the biggest thing is what's important for people like him, artists like him, is that they take their time and they be patient. And if you're a fan of KDot, you should understand that, because for the reasons that you just outlined. He's chasing his own shadow, bruh. Like, he has his own expectations to live up to. That's very hard to deal with. That's part of the downfall. I think that's like the opposite angle of success sometimes. You know, when you're successful, you're evaluated against your own success. And while, you know, some people may look at that as a knock, it can also be a positive too, because it gives you something to really shoot for. You know, it makes you take your time, measure 4 times before you cut. You know, lay those vocals down 4 different times before you say it's final versus 3. It depends.
That kind of sucks. I mean, because I don't think, I mean, I'm just going to say this. Sorry, I know we keep talking about yapping. But
hey, man, it's Kendrick, man.
Like,
you might as well go overboard with this subject.
We got to. I don't think people understand the ramifications that come with not meeting expectations. Like, I would rather somebody say they had no expectations on what I brought out and the album was bad. Okay, that's fine. Than for somebody to say I did not meet expectations. There are huge ramifications, career-ending ramifications for not meeting expectations. This is in life. This is in life, dog. Like, this is at your common workplace. This is in sports. This is in music. This is in acting. If you don't meet expectations, your career could start to take a down spiral. And I think that, you know, that's something people got to really recognize.
No, that's facts. And damn, I feel like I keep having something more to say. But we as the listeners, to me, or you know what? Before I even go that way, expectations are it's a relative concept to me, because whose expectations? What are the expectations? I feel like if you're a music label, you have expectations for the album meeting a certain benchmark in sales, right? The album recouping, you know, certain benchmarks being hit. And while an act as big as Kendrick Lamar, I have no doubt he's going to meet the numbers. Like, I don't think when you're that big and you mean that much to the culture, you're going to meet all of the benchmark numbers wise. But what we're talking about here that I think people need to understand is the expectations of the aesthetics, the music, you know, like, how does it feel? These are things that you can't really touch. They're not tangible. And so I think that's what we're talking about. So I want to be very clear. When we talk about expectations, we ain't talking about first week sales. We ain't talking about second week sales. We ain't talking about whether the shit went platinum, double platinum. We talking about the aesthetics, the intangible aspects of how the music resonates with people over time. Because to me, when you talk about Kendrick, that's what matters right now. That's the only thing that matters.
I agree.
That's it.
How many times have we said, you know, a new 50 Cent album isn't Get Rich or Die Trying? This ain't Rich or Die Trying. How many times have we said this ain't DS2 by Future? This is not as good as DS2. This is not as good as Wiz Khalifa's Cushion Orange Juice mixtape. Like, it happens a lot. It happens a lot where we're like, yo, this is just not as good as the other thing. Kendrick Lamar has been blessed with the ability to make an album and then the next one makes you forget about the other one. Then the next one makes you forget about the other one. Like he's able to close chapters and keep his career moving without us having to say, this is not good, kid, Mad City.
I agree. And speaking of closing chapters, how about we close the chapter on that topic? That was a great topic.
I think so. I think it's the best.
Let's move. Yeah, me too. So let's move on, man. So we got a couple more things to talk about. This next topic, though, is something that you brought up, right before the show started, and I think it's an interesting one. And it's about alternative hip hop, the new wave of hip hop. The more I would call it, whatever is trendy right now in hip hop, and what I mean by that is, people who are making music that is not boom bap. I think us as old people, damn, did I really just loop?
You said us as old people?
God damn,
you came for both our lives for no reason.
That's not even what I meant, though. Damn.
I don't look old. Look, man, I got a hairline.
Look, you have I see grays in your beard. Look.
That's not gray, that's light.
That's light. Wait, light or lice? Which one?
Light. Both.
So no, I didn't mean it like that. But I'm just talking about like the old folks in hip hop who want to hear more of the traditional, rap, like Benny the Butcher as a core example, and how we're not really getting people like Benny the Butcher all of the time. Sometimes we're getting people like the Kid Laroi. Sometimes we're getting people like Juice WRLD who are able to rap, but it's a different style. So I want you to kind of kick this off, though, because I do believe that we are entering into we are in a new age of hip hop that people just need to get used to if you haven't already.
Yeah. I want to give you credit, right? I know you always give me credit for what I said about Drake. I want to give you credit for what you said about Juice WRLD. You have been an advocate about giving Juice WRLD his flowers, even when he was alive. Like how you were saying, this guy is one of the most talented artists out. And I also want to give, I can't remember exactly who.
Thank you, man. By the way, thank you.
I want to say it was G Herbo. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they said Juice WRLD was.
It was G Herbo.
Was it G Herbo? You know what I'm about to say. Juice WRLD was this generation's Biggie. When I first heard that, I was like, I don't know about that. Like that's a huge statement. But I think Juice WRLD has ushered in a style of music, alternative hip hop music, that has slowly but surely been taking over radio stations, streaming services. Like it's a go-to genre that a lot of people are being successful in. I bring that up because right now, I believe on the Billboard charts, number one song, or one of the top 5 songs at least, is a song called Mood by 24K Golden and Ian Dior. Now, both of those people are not household names. They're not. But what they were able to do on that song was take alternative hip hop to the next level. I thought Machine Gun Kelly, right? He's another person that was doing alternative hip hop, a little bit more on the alternative side than hip hop, a little bit more on the rock side than hip hop, but he was able to create a successful body of work just a couple weeks ago using alternative hip hop. And to me, it just goes back to the whole Juice WRLD, his music, into where he ushered in alternative hip hop in a way that was fearless, daring, and even just unfortunately him incorporating the drugs and just the sad boy elements into it, I think really has taken this alternative hip hop to the next level. Matter of fact, there's a song that they're playing by Juice WRLD a lot. Like you hear it on commercials and things like that. I think you know what I'm talking about with I can't something in the sun, dun, 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 everybody dun, dun. It's probably a horrible rendition.
You talking about the one with Trippie Redd? What song?
I want to say it's Marshmello and Juice WRLD. I want to say it's that song. Marshmello and Juice WRLD, but they're playing it a lot. And to me, it's like the epitome. The fact that he's still getting major radio play on all stations says a lot. And so I just wanted to highlight that, man. Like what do you think? Do you think that this is the new trap music, alternative hip hop? And if so, like, are you feeling it? Like how do you feel about it?
Well, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around the word alternative. The alternative part of what you're saying. Like, I feel like alternative implies that it means different, right? But it almost makes it seem like that is what is unconventional. That's what's not the status quo. But I actually think it's the opposite. Like, if you think about it, the Juice Worlds of the world, right? All the people we just named, the Trippie Reds, everybody who does what we're talking about, it's the norm and it's the status quo. So I'm not sure if alternative is really the label to really put on it. If anything, I would say the boom bap has become alternative. It's actually flipped. And I know that sounds crazy, but like that's kind of what's happened in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? With the introduction of melodies and the emo aspect into hip hop and stuff like that. So forget it, not getting caught up in the words of it all. If you kind of follow where I'm going with that, I like it. I'm here for it. Like you said, I was really a fan of Juice WRLD's work early. You know, I remember the day I found out about Juice WRLD. You told me about him. Like we were going out one day. I think we were in DC, and you were like, "Yo, yeah, this dude named Juice WRLD, he dropped a new song." So there's a song that dropped called "Lucid Dreams," and All Girls Are the Same. And I remember you and I having a debate, and saying to ourselves, "Man, I really like this. This is like it's the content is horrible, but it sounds so good. Man, wow." And so, you know, you could just hear the talent, bro. The talent was there, and the talent is there with a lot of these guys. But I think the problem with the more traditional side of hip hop is, you know, everybody's looking for bars, everybody's looking for melodies, everybody's looking for a traditional hook. Everybody's looking for a specific type of production that if it doesn't necessarily meet that, they kind of dismiss it and act like these dudes can't really rap. Some of these dudes can really, really rap, and Juice WRLD is the epitome of that. And so when you brought up that example of G Herbo making that statement, which it was G Herbo, I remember that he was actually on the Breakfast Club, and he said that about Juice WRLD. It resonated with me because as crazy of a statement as that sounds, I believe that to be true. I believe it to be true. Because if you think about it, Biggie was a dude who was at the forefront of his generation. Somebody who could supremely rap. Like, it was almost like he was unmatched. And as a matter of fact, while he was alive, he was given his flowers, right? People were trying to collaborate with him. You know, everybody regarded him as the top dude, right? And then after he died, everyone spent the next 10, 20 years. It's been about 20 years, right? Or so. Actually, it's been 20 plus years. Copying lines from him, saying, you know what I'm saying, getting inspiration. People saying, I grew up on him. He was the reason why I started rapping. Oh, man, I really love this style. I believe Juice WRLD's impact into his generation and the generations to come is going to have that type of effect. And whether you like it or not, that doesn't change the statement. That doesn't change the sentiment that he is that influential to his generation and the generations to come. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between liking what you're hearing, liking that statement, and it not being true. Like, I believe that to be true, but you can like it or not. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? So again, I guess to wrap it up, I don't know how I feel about the term alternative hip hop. I do feel where you're coming from. I think it's more like emo, if anything. I'm not sure how to categorize it, but I'll just call it hip hop, man. You know, it's hip hop.
There's this weird thing that we do as Americans where we take words just morph into like a different meaning. Like, they start off as a certain meaning and then they just morph into something else. Like pop, right? Initially pop meant popular music. It has morphed into a specific sound. So now people are like, yeah, that's pop music, because they're going based off of sound. Alternative has morphed into like rock elements mixed in with, like, if it's alternative R&B, it's like rock elements mixed in with R&B.
I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying.
it's morphed. But initially, you're right. It started out as alternative meant, alternative meant like different. But two things I want to say before we wrap it up. I'm going to say, do you know what I love about this alternative hip hop wave? It shows people like that the people that are making the music, they love music. Point blank, period. Remember back in the day where it was cool to say, man, I'm not no rapper. I'm a hustler that just happens to know how to rap. Remember that? Like nobody was proud to say that they were a rapper back then. No one was proud to say they were fans of such and such. To me, this wave indicates that people are proud to say, I was a fan of Blink 182. Just like me, I'm a fan of Blink 182. I'm also a fan of, Lil Baby. I'm a fan of Gwen Stefani. I'm a fan of Justin Bieber. Like back then, legitimately, that wasn't cool to say. Like, I think it shows people's real, genuine love for a variety of genres. To me, I think that's the beautiful thing. And another thing I want to say is that, this is yet another subgenre of hip hop that these traditional rappers are going to have to adjust to. Like, you can no longer just be a Jay-Z. If you want to be successful, you can no longer just be a Jay-Z. You can no longer just be a Snoop Dogg. You can no longer just be a rapper. Like, you're going to have to adjust. And I think out of all the subgenres we've seen throughout these years, this is going to be the hardest for your traditional rapper to adjust to, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. That's a good point, and I think I'll touch on this really quickly. At least I'll try. But dude, very, very powerful point you making right there. Because, dude, we talk about this all the time, man. Melodies. That is what is so it's melody, and then it's also the vulnerability. It's those two, right? It's the complete opposite of what the traditional rappers were doing. They were not using melody. Oh man, you sing it too much. Look at what 50 Cent was trying to clown Ja Rule about. As if that's a knock. Oh man, he's singing too much. But yeah, 50 was singing too. The complete contradiction and hypocrisy of that entire thing that always left me very confused. But even for the people who believed what 50 was saying and was trashing Ja for him singing, look at what people are clowning somebody over. He's using melody in his music? Bro, that's music.
Yeah, that's music. That's taking music to another level.
Yeah, and so with that being said, look at how contentious people were to use melodies freely back then. And this was not that long ago. This is 2003 when 50 was clowning this guy. That's 17 years ago. Fast forward to today, and you got dudes who are talking about heartbreak. You got dudes talking about these deep mental issues that they're having. You know what I'm saying? These are things that rappers would have never shared in their music. Mm-hmm. Never. Mm-hmm. And so I actually commend these young dudes. I commend them. Young men and women, rather.
It ain't going nowhere.
I commend them for being vulnerable. I commend them for being emotional, being fearless in their music. I commend them for infusing actual true music, elements of music, which is melody. Bro, to me, I believe this is where hip hop should be. Yes. This is where hip hop should be, because this is a complete synergy intersection of the hip hop culture with actual music. Bro, this is hip hop. This is where it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
So
very good place.
I think so, man. I think so. So shout out to all these dudes that are doing it, man. And we can call it whatever we want, but like you said, these older traditional dudes, and even some of the younger guys who, I'll throw a name in there, like a Dave East. Dave East is a younger guy, but he's kind of in that more traditional side of hip hop, right? Where he's looking for the affirmation from those dudes that he looked up to, but them dudes is way out of the game now. Them dudes is way out. You're gonna have to assimilate now if you want to stay afloat.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, right? To put it in perspective, Dave East dissed Lil Nas X. Guess who took the most shots for that? Dave East took the most shots. They were like, nobody cares about your music. When Dave East said that, that just tells you where we are. They're defending that Lil Nas X. And Lil Nas X is the one that people are more interested in listening to.
Yeah. What a dilemma. Look at where we are, man. Great topic, man. Great topic.
Our last one.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna end it with the election. As you guys may know, president-elect, not president, which pisses me off. This is me taking shots at all the people that say president-elect. I guess it's politically correct. I get it. Stop calling them political. Just call him next president. I hate president-elect Joe Biden. But yes, Joe Biden is expected to be our president in January. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Kamala Harris. And I am excited to just have Trump out.
Yeah, man. You know, what's interesting is, as always, I have to preface my comments by saying we're not a political show, which should go as no surprise. Everybody knows that at this point. But like you said, man, I don't know why you had that feeling about president-elect. That doesn't sound that bad to me, but whatever. Yeah, man, like it was I guess it's not final, so you can't really have two presidents. You can't call him President Biden. I get it. Yeah, I don't know where I want to take this, man, because you know the results are not even final technically. You got Trump out here contesting the votes. Like I heard more recently that in Georgia they're going to do a recount by hand. I'm like, what the? Do you know how long it's going to take to count all of those votes by hand? Bro, they're supposed to swear in the president-elect Joe Biden in January, right? So we're talking about 60 days, maybe 70 days until that happens. It might take them 70 days to count all of them votes in Georgia by hand. How, like, is anybody thinking about that? You know what I'm saying? And also, damn, I feel like all of my triggers are just coming up. The things that I've been wondering during this whole election, because I was tuned in, bro. I was tuned the fuck in to CNN every step of the way. Yo, how do you pronounce the vice president-elect's first name? I keep hearing people say Kamala, keep hearing people say Kamala. I keep hearing different variations. I'm gonna need to understand the correct pronunciation before I mess it up, because it's important, bro. You can't keep messing up. How do you mess up the vice president's first name? Like that should be something that everybody just knows. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. First black woman, black woman, however you want to play
Southeast Asian, however the first Indian. They said a whole lot of stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. But I do want to talk about hip hop's impact, right?
Yeah.
Hip hop and music's impact. We talked about it last episode, a lot of endorsements. I really do think hip hop is what put Joe Biden, not hip hop, let me not say hip hop, but hip hop is one of the many things that helped Joe Biden get over that edge. There was a lot of people, a lot of rappers. I saw the Baby. The Baby drove people to North Carolina to vote. I saw, who else did I see? I saw Lil Wayne try to endorse President Trump. I'm pretty sure that had an impact on how a lot of people voted. But people were very active. People were saying vote. They had vote on some of the concerts they were doing. Like, I really am impressed with the show out and like the importance that hip hop and just entertainment played in this election. Because if you look at it this way, in my humbling opinion, Joe Biden won a lot of the important states because of black people. Let's be real. Like,
that's a fact.
He flipped Georgia. You know why? Because Atlanta, people finally showed out. Yep. And we know how black Atlanta is. He did good in Michigan because, you know why? Detroit, people showed out. Flint, people showed out. He did good in Milwaukee, which is Wisconsin. Milwaukee, people showed out. Philadelphia, black people showed out. Like black people, like what we were able to do this election was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Atlanta, my God, that to me is one of the most impressive things I've seen this year for Georgia, a place that has been historically red, to flip blue. Like that to me is black people. That to
Yeah.
me is the impact of black people. And it looked like at one point Georgia was going to be one of the major difference makers in this election. And so for that to happen, man, that was dope. That was dope to me.
No, hell yeah, I agree with that, man. You know, it's funny. It's funny that a lot of people were first time voters this time around. You know, and it almost became like cool to vote. You know, it's like however you felt, whether on one end of the spectrum, whether you were for Trump, whether you're for Biden, it didn't matter. It seemed like everybody made it a conscious effort to vote, which I think is dope because that's the whole point of voting is for everybody to be involved. But I wanna take this a different step, man, because you're right, man. All of these different cities, I could make a legitimate argument like you are that black people had a lot to do with putting Joe Biden over that hump and getting him into the White House. And so I think this is a prime opportunity that we as a community need to take. Unlike what we did with President Obama in the past, and it's to hold these people accountable. Like the vote should mean something. Okay, we go out and vote for you, and then what, right? Think about it. We're not just voting for these people just to get involved. I mean, some people are, but like the vote should mean something. And so, what are we getting for these votes? What? This is the prime time to make demands, respectfully, of course, right? Because you have to be amicable on both sides. Come with a plan. This is where we as in like a community need to organize and say, yo, this is what we want. Remember, we spent a whole lot of time. We had an episode, you and I, where the whole, riots were happening. There was a lot of political unrest, social unrest after the killing of George Floyd, right? And we spent the whole episode talking about solutions, right? We brought up reparations. You and I, we went back and forth about what that meant, whether it was beneficial, whether it was not. The point I'm making here is, well, this is when we need to start coming up with these solutions. Because the vote that we gave to whoever the hell you voted for should matter. So let's start putting some agendas in place. Let's start putting them in front of the administration that is going to be sworn in January with Biden and Harris. And let's start trying to make something happen for us as a black community, as a hip hop community, as a whatever community you are in. This is the time where it matters. And I learned a saying over this whole election period, which I thought was interesting. I never heard it before. It's called quid pro quo. I don't know the origins of the actual word. I'm pretty sure it's a different language. Maybe it's Latin. Who knows? But the point is, the translation of it means essentially, I do something for you in return for something that you're going to give to me. So, if, for example, elections, politics, I'm voting for you to get something from you.
I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's what that meant.
Yeah, that's what it means. Look it up, man. I'm pretty sure I summarized it properly, but the point is like our votes should matter and they should count for something. So, like I'm saying, this is the time to organize, man, and I hope we do that. So, yeah, man. I think we talked enough about music, politics. Damn, we covered a lot today. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for sharing. I'm sorry, thank you for staying and share the video, comment, like, do what you got to do to support. We appreciate y'all for listening. If you're listening to this on, the different podcast apps and whatnot, share the show. Also, I want to point out we have a new Discord community. If you guys are out there into Discord, it's a Wise Gang community where we're going to be, spending a little bit of time. We got little lobbies set up where you guys can give us new music suggestions. You guys can shoot the shit with us. You can rant. You can give us feedback on the episodes. You can give us feedback on the podcast. You can let us know what you like, what you don't like. And it's just a place to hang out, There's a whole streaming aspect of it. So who knows? We may even, in the future, if we get enough of you guys in there, we may end up doing like a we may do like a live reaction to some new music, you know, or whatever you guys want us to watch. We can react with y'all. It's a cool environment. So if you haven't done so, go check out the description of this episode and you will find the link. I think it's time to bounce.
Yes, sir. Just don't spam us.
Don't spam us, or you will be blocked. As always, if you are giving advice, make sure it's ill.
Peace.